Hey everyone, Thrift Store Hacker here again, and we're doing a build for the Instructables.com bike contest. And I had this old beat-up rear end to a tricycle that was sitting in my backyard, so we decided to start off with that. And I went to the thrift store and got this BMX bike. I paid all of about $8 for it. And about the only thing I've done so far is I bolted the old Trike back end up to the brackets on the BMX bike and mounted the chain. I got the alignment on the chain pretty good and put a coat of black paint on it because, well, why not? So I mounted a board to the back of this, and as you can see I cut out a hole for the chain. And that's for the neutral drive selector on top of the gearbox here. The other hole is just for this race piece right here. I made myself a template. Put the template down here and set my holes. So this will set nice and flat against the board. Now I'm going to mount that up and I'll come back to you. I got the motor mounted up to the board now. It's put in there with 5 of the 6 bolts. There's a hole right here for the neutral selector, and one of the bolts is right there, so we can't put that one in. I hooked up the chain, and this just goes to a regular bike sprocket. This is a motor off of one of my previous projects, but it's got a 5-bolt hub for the original wheelchair wheel, and I made this sprocket here fit in and hook up on this side with, I managed to use most of the existing holes on there. There was only one I really had to drill out. And that's just going straight down to the chain. Now I'm going to fix up the surface here and see what I can do about finding a box to cover this. I kind of want to have like a whole box to cover the whole top of this, and the batteries, one battery will sit right here, another battery will sit right here. And if I can find such a box, it'll look like it doesn't even have a motor on it at all, which is kind of what I'm going for. Now that we have the plate secured, I secured it up front here to the original brake mounts on the BMX bike frame. And this motor, I used to run 2 of these motors, one here and then one over here, delivering 700 watts at a really high torque. I'm pretty certain we can get away with just 350 watts on this. This motor will have to run in reverse. It doesn't really matter with these brushed motors because they can operate either direction. Shouldn't hurt them. I'm a little concerned about the gearbox, but I know the axle on this is a little bent, but we're going to hook it up to the battery and see how bad everything wobbles. They're 24-volt motors, but we're going to run this in a 12-volt configuration just to do some light testing. Let me hook the wires up here really quick. It looks like we're going pretty good. I think I need to clean that up right there because, as you can see, the chain's rubbing against the guard. But it seems to be going along pretty good. You can see it's one-wheel drive. If I really wanted to make a live axle out of this, you see the bolt spinning on the end there. But I don't know if you pick it up on the camera, you can see that wheel tweaking a little because the axle's just a touch bent. Now I'm going to go get the box that I have to cover this up and go dig my batteries out of the electric trike that I have out here. That's front wheel trike. And we're going to try a full test after I get everything set up because I'm still not really sure about this board. The board that I mounted, I wanted to make a little more solid. So what I did is, since I had this big open piece right here, I took it and I put a 1x1 box steel under it, ran some bolts in, and this will drop down, and we'll have a little bit of adjustment there where we can adjust this side up and down. I have to make a mechanism. but this will allow us to tension the chain on the sprocket. And on top of that, I've built a adapter plate for the motor, so the motor will hook right up to the board there. I have an adapter plate on the back of it, so it kind of fits a little bit better and the wood doesn't separate. Alright, so we mounted up the motor with the bracket that we made. And got all that mounted up. We got 2 bolts that mount it to the back, and then the front right here we have the bar that I put across the bottom to strengthen it, and we have it drilled through this aluminum plate here, which is bolted to the old brake mounting points, and the brake mounting points are capped off with sockets to make it a little taller. Some old junk sockets I had. Now with this piece of all thread, we've got a bolt down here, and when I twist this bolt up, the whole deck here pivots upward, which puts tension on the chain. That way I can adjust the tension on the chain on the fly. Now I just need to wire up the batteries. I've already put the controller unit on, which is the same motor controller I've used on all my projects as the pulse width module with the potentiometer. I still have to figure out, I'm going to try to find a way to convert this to a Hall effect throttle like on the cheap electric scooters, so you can just use the throttle. But we're going to put the batteries on it and get everything lined up and then go from there. So to wire up the throttle here, I just took the other brake, which this is the front, I took the back brake bracket and gutted it down, just left the bracket. I trimmed a little bit off the handlebar so I can get that really close, like where I'm going to have my hand, so I can just roll it forward like this or shut it off. It feels pretty comfortable. Just use a little electrical tape, then I'll just tape all this stuff down and give it another shot of black paint to make it look good. Alright, we're back with a pretty awesome thrift store find. This is an old piece of luggage that just about fit the dimensions that I needed it to, but I kind of worked with it. You have like little no room on this side, a little extra room on that side. I'm going to put another little bin right here. But I cut a hole in the bottom of it and mounted my batteries and my motor to it. So I cut a hole to put the motor through, and then I mounted the batteries inside of it. The only thing that I'm a little worried about is I'm going to have to make something so that this doesn't rub against the battery, and something so the chain doesn't rub up against the battery on this side. But it fit really good, and I'm really excited about this. For the battery box, I figured out how to do some mounting on it. Don't mind the duct tape, that'll get fixed. Maybe. But down here, between the motor and the battery, because I didn't want them rubbing against each other, I cut up about 4 strips of old bike tube and put them in there. I don't know if you can see with the camera. I put 4 strips of bike tube in there. I also put some over here too, and bolted this into the board for just keep the battery from sliding around. And on the other side here, I did a PVC pipe, another piece of steel that I had lying around with a piece of bike tube there, another PVC pipe, so this is going to keep the batteries from moving basically anywhere. And then with the, this is the wire that connects the 2 batteries together. I just have it hooked up to one post right now, but this one goes over the secondary post. And to fuse the motor, I didn't have any 30 amp fuses. I put a 40 on it. This is actually a small automotive fuse that you would find under the hood in like a circuit box. As for the top, I have a bungee cord going down to my seat that we're going to truck along. That way I can hold it open if I need to service it. Set that aside for now. I took this for a ride You see I have my light on the back here for safety. I haven't quite mounted it yet, just threw some duct tape on it. Push the bike back here a bit. Then I just have a cheap hardware store light on the front for a bike light. And this box here, yeah, I was thinking, you know, I have the rest of the bike painted, I should paint the box, but I kind of like the way it looks. Looks pretty good, and the girlfriend was like, you know, you should get some stickers from all over the world and put them on it, look like the box has traveled. I don't have them from all over the world, but I do have a bunch of old, like when you travel the United States, gift shop, different stickers and stuff, just all over the world. I think these are probably from the early mid-70s. I noticed on this one here, one of these, they had the price on the back of it. In the back, yeah, it's 39 cents. But these are from all over the country, you know, all the states in the Union. So I'm going to put a bunch of them on there and make it look pretty cool. The trike is just about finished. I applied my stickers on the back here. A couple of stickers from California and Oregon. Put a safety light on the back that has a blinking red light. Installed my safety flag. The only thing I haven't finished yet is putting a chain on here. I taped up all the wiring, made sure nothing was in the way, made sure there's enough wiring to turn the handlebars left and right without binding up the wires. I put a new seat on it, a little bit wider seat, better than the BMX seat that was on it. In the battery box here, I just use a couple of pieces of tape just to hold those rubber inner tubes in. Make sure nothing rubs against anything. Have everything hooked up electrically. If you notice, I changed the size of the sprocket back here. I took it for a short test ride. The motor was getting really hot. It was getting really overworked. So I went with a smaller sprocket, which will decrease the speed of the bike overall, but it'll give it a lot more torque. And, you know, it's not that fast. I mean, it goes about 15 miles an hour, you know, pedaling comfortably. On a regular bike, that's about 15. So we have this all set up, have the batteries hooked up, so we'll roll this forward. I put the bike up on a jack so we can let the wheel spin freely. You can see in here, leave it at about 1/3 speed. Putting a smaller sprocket on it gave me a lot more clearance down here between the battery and the sprocket. I'm kind of happy about that. Don't have to mess around with it too much. The battery is really secure, so it's not going to move forward. It's got a big bolt going down through with a nut on the other side. And it's bolted through that piece of steel. Then we have that piece of bicycle tubes. And on the back of the motor, I removed, there was a brake unit back here, and it had to be on there if you're using the actual wheelchair controller, but since we got a different controller for this, I don't need that to be there. Turn it up to full speed. That wheel's a little not round. And you can also tell the axle's a little bent because the front end's wobbling a bit. It's not too noticeable at speed. And there you have it.